Alright. Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Sakhi Devan and today we'll be discussing CUET Psychology 2022 paper. Let us start with the very first question given to us. The question states, according to Freud, which element of personality does not care for moral values, society, or other individuals? So according to Freud, there were three elements of personality, id, ego, and superego. Out of these three, it was the one which is considered as a person's source of instinctual energy. Merely focuses on immediate gratification of needs and it does not entertain any delay or postponement in the fulfillment of those needs. So it is it that does not care for moral values, society, and other individuals. So the answer for this question will be the third part, that is it. Let us move on to the next question then. The second question has provided us with two different lists, and we have to match the concept given with the person who gave the particular concept. Alright? So the first that is given to us is self-efficacy. And we know that it is Bandura who gave us self-efficacy. The second one is real self. Real self was given by Rogers. Rogers gave two types of self, real self and ideal self. The third one is self-report measures. So self-report measures were given by Kettle. Kettle gave the 16 PF questionnaire that is considered as a very important self-report measure. 16 PF stands for 16 Personality Factor Questionnaire. And the last one is self-actualization. So self-actualization was given to us by Abraham Maslow in his pyramid of. So it was Maslow who gave us self-actualization in his hierarchy of needs. So the answer for this question will be fourth one. That is self-efficacy was given by Bandura. Real self was given by Carl Rogers. Self-report measure by Kettle and self-actualization by Maslow. Let us move to the next question. The third question states, street smartness is a part of, and the options are multiple intelligence, contextual intelligence, experiential intelligence, and componential intelligence. So the second, third, and fourth part, contextual, experiential, and componential intelligence are the part of triarchic theory of intelligence given by Robert Sternberg. And in his triarchic theory, Robert Sternberg very clearly explained that street smartness is a part of contextual intelligence, right? So the answer for this question will be part two, that is contextual intelligence. You can also refer to the figure given here. It talks about the three types of intelligences: analytical intelligence, that is also known as componential intelligence. Then we have creative intelligence, as it is the other name for experiential intelligence. And the last one, that is practical intelligence, that is the other name for contextual intelligence. Under practical intelligence, we can clearly see that practical intelligence includes the people who are street smart and have adequate common sense. All right, let us move to the fourth question then. The fourth question states the important ideas proposed by Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow are: first is people have a tendency to maximize self-concept through self-actualization. So yes, when we understand this statement, this particular statement was given by Abraham Maslow that said that people maximize their self-concept through self-actualization. Maslow's hierarchy of needs focused on self-actualization. The second statement that is given to us is there is a collective unconscious consisting of archetypes. So this was given to us by Carl Jung, and it was not given by Carl Rogers or Abraham Maslow under the humanistic perspective. So we cannot consider that this as an idea proposed by Rogers or Maslow. Let us move to the third statement then. Behavior is goal directed and worthwhile. People try to express capabilities, potentials, and talents to the fullest possible extent. Again, this was an idea proposed by Abraham Maslow that people try to maximize their capabilities. Then the fourth statement given to us is an atmosphere of unconditional positive regard must be created in order to ensure enhancement of one's self-concept. So this was a statement given by Carl Rogers. Carl Rogers also gave us the client-centered therapy. Under that also, he reiterated the need for unconditional positive regard. Then last statement given to us is human beings display a wider range of variations in psychological attributes. So this statement was not given either by Rogers or Abraham Maslow under the humanistic perspective. So the three statements that we can consider to be given either by Rogers or by Maslow are the first, third, and the fourth options. So when we refer to the given options, the fourth, that is A, C, and D, is the correct answer. I hope it is clear. Let us move on to the next question then. Question number 5. The clinical psychologist assessed firms B, firm B's personality using a test based on less structured stimuli. So the key term here is less structured stimuli. The test helped to assess his unconscious motives and feelings. In this statement, the key terms are unconscious motives and feelings. Now we have to identify the tests that the psychologist utilized. Options are self-report measures, projective techniques, behavior analysis, and psychometric tests. So I hope it is all very understandable that whenever we utilize less structured stimuli, we are always utilizing projective techniques. Projective techniques make use of less structured stimuli in order to understand or to elicit a person's unconscious motives and feelings. So the answer for this question will be option number two, that is projective techniques. You can also refer to this image from NCRT. It clearly states projective techniques were developed to assess unconscious motives and feelings. These techniques are based on assumption that a less structured or unstructured stimuli or situation will allow the individual to project his or her feelings, desires, and needs onto that situation. All right, with this, let us move on to the sixth question. It states that in a person defends against anxiety by adopting behavior opposite to his or her true feelings. So the um asks us of an ego defense mechanism in which a person defends against anxiety by adopting behavior that are opposite to his or her true feelings. So when we try to understand that a person is actually behaving not according to what they actually feel, but opposite to that, so we clearly know that the answer is reaction formation. One example of this could be a person who is actually sad, but constantly adopts behaviors that display that he or she is inherently very happy. So that would be a defense mechanism that the person is utilizing, which is called reaction formation. The next question states Dash has been found extremely useful in career guidance, vocational exploration, and occupational testing. All right. So, in this, there are different self-report measures given to us as options, and we have to identify which self-report measure is found useful in career guidance, vocational exploration, and occupational testing, right? So, we clearly know it is the 16 personality factor questionnaire given by Raymond Petal. This 16 peer questionnaire is utilized thoroughly in career guidance and vocational exploration, as well as in occupational testings, right? Question number 8. Question number 8 states Dash refers to our ability to organize and monitor our own behavior. Whenever we try to organize and monitor our own behavior, so the other term for monitoring is regulation. Whenever we try to regulate our own behavior, it is known as self-regulation, right? So the answer for this question will be option number 4, that is self-regulation. With this, let us move on to the next question. The next question states, a child is going through a tough time and is facing problems in school. He decides to discuss the same with the school counselor so that he can vent out his feelings, identify the type of coping response in this. So, in this, what is happening is that the child is feeling those emotions and he is trying to seek help from the school counselor just to vent out his own feelings, not to seek a particular solution, not to avoid the situation, but to only understand his own feelings and to vent those feelings so that he can make himself feel better. So, this kind of strategy of coping is known as emotion oriented strategy. You can also refer to the image from NCRT. This states that emotion-oriented strategy can involve efforts to maintain hope and to control one's emotion. It can also involve venting feelings of anger and frustration or deciding that nothing can be done to change things. I hope this makes the question much more clearer. Let us move to the next question then. Question number 10. Question number 10 states social support in form of assistance involving material aid such as money or goods is known as dash support. So we clearly know the answer would be tangible. The four options given are emotional, positive, tangible, and informational. So this type of support that involves material aid is known as tangible support. NCRT states social support may be in the form of tangible support or assistance involving material aid such as money, goods, services, etc. The next question states Radhika wants to do everything perfectly. Every time this expectation leads to disappointment and stress. Thus, the source of her psychological stress is. So, in this, we need to put our focus in the first line. That is, she wants to do everything perfectly. She has set the standard for herself. Then the standard is perfection. So whenever the person is setting standards up for themselves, whenever they wish to do everything perfectly, then that is something that is called internal pressure. The pressure that we put upon ourselves is known as internal pressure. Radhika has set the bar for herself. She wants to do everything perfectly. So that is called internal pressure. All right, let's move to the next question. Question number 12. Question number 12 again provides us with two lists and we have to match these together. List 1 talks about the different effects of stress and the list 2 talks about the description of those effects. Correct. So when we look at emotional effect can include mood swings, increased psychological tension. Physiological effect will include increased heart rate, constriction of blood vessels. Cognitive effect will include effects on our cognition that will involve poor concentration, reduced short-term memory capacity. And the last is behavioral effects, that is the effect that stress has on our behavior. So that will include disrupted sleep pattern and increased absenteeism. So the option that we'll choose is our option number 3, that matches emotional effect with mood swings and increased psychological tension, physiological effect with increased heart rate and constriction of blood vessels, cognitive effect with poor concentration and reduced short-term memory, and behavioral effect with disrupted sleep pattern and increased absenteeism. Question number 13. Question number 13 states, once the date sheet was announced, the students started paying attention and preparing for the examination. They made notes, took tests, and attended coaching class, neglecting their diet and sleep. As the examination approached, students felt draining of bodily resources and falling sick. This indicates dash stage of general adaptation syndrome. Right. So there are three stages in general adaptation syndrome. The first is the alarm reaction stage, second is the resistance stage, and third one is the exhaustion stage. So in this, they started paying attention once the date sheet was announced, and as a result, they continuously took tests, attended coaching classes, but they skipped their diet and sleep, and therefore felt drained of their bodily resources as well as felt sick. So this can be counted under the exhaustion stage. What happens in exhaustion stage is that continued exposure to the same stressor or additional stressors drains the body of its resources. The physiological systems involved in alarm reaction resistance become ineffective and susceptibility to stress-related diseases becomes higher. So I hope the answer of this question is clear. The answer will be option number one, exhaustion stage. Let us move to the next question then, question number 14. Question number 14 states, in which of the following disorders children may fuss, scream, throw severe tantrums, or make suicidal gestures? So the answer for this will be separation anxiety disorders. The symptoms described here are typical of separation anxiety disorders, in which especially the children may fuss or scream or throw severe tantrums or make suicidal gestures when they are either left alone or sent to places where they have to be alone, such as school. So they are more reluctant to go to these places or to be left alone uh, without the attachment figure. So the answer for this question will be the third option, that is separation anxiety disorder. Let us move to the 15th question. 15th question states dominating and bullying others without provocation is dash type of aggression. So this is typical of proactive aggression. What happens in the proactive aggression is that the person dominates or bullies others without any provocation. There is no provocation present in such type of aggression, but the person is inherently dominating and bullying. Question number 16 provides us with two lists. The list one gives us the symptoms of schizophrenia, and the list two provides us a description of those symptoms. So, the first symptom that is given to us is alogia. Alogia stands for poverty of speech. So, in schizophrenic, there is usually poverty of speech that is known as alogia. In the second part that is given to us, that is delusion. Delusion, delusion stands for a false belief. False belief that means that the false belief that is not based on any grounds. The third one that is given to us is evolution. Evolution refers to the lack of motivation to do the task, and the last one is hallucination. Hallucination refers to the perception that exists without the actual existence of a particular stimuli. So when we look at the options, we can see that option number two is the correct answer. Let us move to the next question. Question number 17. Bulimia nervosa is a dash type of disorder. So we know that bulimia nervosa involves a pattern of overeating and purging, and it comes under the category of eating disorder. So the answer will be option number two, eating disorder. Question number 18. Manjeet is inattentive, hyperactive, and mostly impulsive. He is most likely to be diagnosed with. So when we look at the symptoms that are given to us, it makes it evidently clear since the symptoms are inattentiveness, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. So these are the typical symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder that is also known as ADHD. Question number 19 provides us with two lists. We have to match the symptoms of schizophrenia with their description. So the first one that is given to us is positive symptoms of schizophrenia. So we know that positive stands for additions here. So positive symptoms of schizophrenia will include bizarre additions to a person's behavior. Then negative symptoms of schizophrenia refers to pathological deficits as positive stands for additions, negative stands for deficits. C part is inappropriate effect. Inappropriate effect. Effect refers to emotion. So effect or emotion that is inappropriate to particular situation refers to inappropriate effect. That is the typical symptom of people with schizophrenia. So it will be matched with option number four, emotions that are unsuited to a particular situation. And the last one is psychomotor symptoms of schizophrenia. This refers to old grimaces and gestures that people with schizophrenia make. So the answer will be option number three. With this, let us move on to the 20th question. It says that Rajni uses yoga and meditation to focus her attention. This is a form of dash therapy. So we know that yoga and meditation are classified under alternative therapies. So the answer will be option number four, alternative therapies. Question number 21. The chief benefit of humanistic therapy is in is which is the process of gaining increasing understanding of oneself and one's aspirations, emotions, and motives. So we know that the chief benefit of humanistic therapy is personal growth. Under this, the client is able to talk about their problems and the therapist merely acts as a facilitator. Eventually, the client arrives at the solutions to their own problems through a process of personal growth. Therefore, the chief benefit that the client achieves from humanistic therapy is personal growth. That is option number four. Let us move to the next question. Question number 22. Question number 22 states which of the following is not an ethical standard in psychotherapy? The options are informed consent needs to be taken. So yes, we know that informed consent is a very important ethical standard and it must always be taken. Second is help to be provided by mindfulness-based meditation. So we know that providing help by mindfulness-based meditation does not come under ethical standard in psychotherapy. The third is confidentiality of the client should be maintained, which is again a very important ethical standard that must be followed at all times. And the last one is respect for human rights and dignity must be maintained. That is again a very important ethical standard that must be followed. So the answer of which of the following is not an ethical standard will be option number two, that is help to be provided by mindfulness-based meditation. Let us move to the next question, question number 23. When using the cognitive behavior therapy, we follow some methods given below. Which one of the following is not used in this therapy? Addressing the childhood traumas on the client, addressing the biological aspects through relaxation, addressing the psychological aspects through behavior therapy, and addressing the social aspects through environmental changes. So CBT includes addressing the biological aspects through relaxation that comes under behavior therapy, addressing the psychological aspects also through behavior therapy, and addressing the social aspects through environmental changes. It does not address childhood traumas of the client. So the answer would be option number three, B, C, and D. All right. Let us move to the next question. Question number 24. An alcoholic is given a mild electric shock and asked to smell the alcohol. Repeatedly pairing the smell of alcohol with the pair of shock leads to giving up of alcohol by the person. Identify the behavioral technique used. So we have very well understood that if a mild electric shock is given after the person is asked to smell the alcohol, this is a part of aversion therapy or aversive condition. So the answer here would be option number three, that is aversive conditioning. Let us move to the next question, question number 25. Out of the following statements, identify the statement that holds true for Albert Ellis's rational emotive therapy. So the statements given to us are the client is taught to recognize the bodily processes and the emotions that are blocked out from awareness, thus increasing self-awareness and self-acceptance. The second statement that is given to us is unwanted behavior can be reduced and wanted behavior can be increased simultaneously through differential reinforcement. So we know that both these statements do not stand true for Albert Ellis's rational emotive therapy. Now let us move to the third statement. That is the first step in rational emotive therapy is the ABC, that is antecedent belief and consequence analysis. That is a statement that holds true for RET. And the last statement is in the process of RET, the irrational beliefs are refuted by the therapist through a process of non-directive questioning. Again, this is true for rational emotive therapy. So the correct answer would be option number one, C and D only. Question number 26. Question number 26 talks about Sheriff's summer camp experiment. So, under this experiment, it was conducted in 4 phases, and we have to arrange the 4 phases in the correct sequence. So, the options given are intergroup competition, friendship formation, intergroup cooperation, and in-group formation. So, out of these, friendship formation is the first step that takes place, which is followed by in-group formation. Once the in-group is formed, the inter-group competition takes place because we regard the members of our in-group as we and those of out-group as they. Therefore, inter-group competition starts between the two groups, and this is followed by inter-group cooperation under the experimental conditions. So the correct answer would be option number two, friendship formation, in-group formation, intergroup competition, and intergroup cooperation. I hope this makes sense. Let us move to the next question. Question number 27. Dash refers to togetherness, binding, or mutual attraction among group members. So from this statement, we can very well understand that the answer would be cohesiveness. Cohesiveness refers to the feeling of togetherness, binding, and mutual attraction between the members of a particular group. So the answer is third option, cohesiveness. Let us move to question number 28. Manish gives something free to Rajat, saying that it is for promotion of the product. Soon afterwards, he asks Rajat to buy a product sold by his company. This technique of compliance is known as, the options given to us are foot in the door technique, the deadline technique, the door in the face technique, and no refusal technique. So the correct answer is foot in the door technique. The foot in the door technique states the person begins by making a small request, which in this case was to take the free product that the other person is not likely to refuse. Once the other person carries out the request, a bigger request is made, simply because the other person has already complied with the smaller request. So in this case, the smaller request was to take the free product for the promotion, which was followed by a bigger request, that is buying the product sold by the company. So the correct answer is option number one, foot in the door technique. Question number 29 provides us with two lists, and we have to match these together. So the first part talks about secondary group. The secondary group can be matched with joined by choice, and it is easy to leave. So we know that when we compare secondary and primary group together, secondary group is the one that we join by our own choice, and secondary groups are usually easier to leave as compared to primary groups. The second is in-group. In-group refers to the we feelings supposed to be similar and are viewed favorably. The third one is primary group. Primary group are pre-existing formations. We cannot join them by choice. They are pre-existing formations, and the boundaries of such groups are less permeable. That is, it is not easy to leave primary groups. And the last one is the formal group. Under the formal group, the functions are explicitly stated based on the specific rules. So the correct answer would be the option number one. Let us move to the 30th question. 30th question talks of which of the following is not associated with the stages of group formation. So the 5 stages of group formation are forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. So out of these 4 options, we can see forming, storming, and performing are part of stages of group formation, while alarming is not a part of stages of group formation. So the correct answer Of which of these is not associated with the stages of group formation is answer number two. Let us move to the next question, question number 31. Question number 31 states, to understand interpersonal physical distances given by Edward Hall, arrange the following from least to the maximum distance. So the four distances given to us by Edward Hall were intimate, personal, social, and public distances. Intimate distance ranges from 0 to 50 centimeter. Personal distance ranges from zero point 0.5 to 1 meter. Social distance ranges from 1 to 4 meters. And lastly, public distance ranges from 4 meter and above. So when we arrange these four distances um, from least to maximum, the correct answer would be intimate, personal, social, and public. So if we refer to the options, option number 4, D, A, C, B is the correct answer. You can also refer to the image given here for the distances that were given by Edward Hall. Let us move to the next question then. Question number 32. The experience of crowding has the following features. Increase in privacy. We know that under crowding, increase in privacy does not happen. So option A is not correct. Let us move to statement number B, feeling of loss of control over social interactions. So we know that this is a part of our experience of crowding. Whenever we are in a crowd, we feel a loss of control over our social interactions. The third one is feeling of discomfort. It is also true for crowding. Whenever we are in a large crowd, we usually experience the feelings of discomfort. The fourth statement talks about the negative view of the space around the person. Whenever we are a part of huge crowds, we have a negative view, a feeling of discomfort about the space that is around us. And the last one is increase in motivation. So we know that whenever we are in part of large crowds, we do experience a lack of motivation. So option number E is also not correct. So when we refer to the options, option number 2 that includes B, C, and D is the correct option. Let us move to the next question. Question number 33. It provides us with two lists, and we have to match list 1 with their descriptions given in list 2. So the first part in list 1 talks about body language. So body language refers to non-verbal actions. That is the third part. Then we move on to paraphrasing. Paraphrasing refers to repeating or summarizing one's words in our own words. Then we have reception. Reception refers to the initial step, that is part of the listening process. And last is authenticity. Authenticity refers to the behavioral expressions that are consistent with what one values. So when we refer to the options, we can clearly see that option number 3 that matches body language with non-verbal actions, paraphrasing with repeating or summarizing one's own words, reception with initial step in listening process, and authenticity with behavioral expressions that are consistent with one when values is the correct answer. So the answer for this question is option number 3. Let us move to the next question, that is 34. It talks about J.P. Guilford's structure of intellect model. So we know that J.P. Guilford gave us the structure of intellect model, and it classified intellectual traits along three dimensions that are operations, content, and product. So the correct answer is option number 3, operation, content, and product. Let us move to the next question, question number 35. According to the past model, Dash allows us to think of possible courses of action, to implement them to reach the target, and to evaluate their effectiveness. So in past, P stands for planning, A stands for arousal, S stands for simultaneous processing, and the other S stands for successive processing. So out of these four, it is planning that allows us to think of possible courses of action. Once we think of possible courses of action, we also implement those courses to reach our given target. And then after reaching that target or without reaching that target, we evaluate the effectiveness of those possible courses of action. So the answer would be option number one, that is planning. Let us move to the 36th question. Persons high on dash intelligence have finer sensibilities regarding their identity, human existence, and meaning of life. So this question talks about the multiple intelligences given by Howard Gardner. Under that this is a specific type of intelligence that includes having finer sensibilities regarding a person's own identity, human existence, and meaning of life. So the correct answer is intrapersonal intelligence. You can also refer to the image given here. Intrapersonal intelligence talks about understanding yourself, what you feel, and what you want. So the correct answer is option number two, intrapersonal intelligence. Next question. Next question states Atul is able to monitor his own and others' emotion, discriminate amongst them, and use this information to guide his thinking and actions. So, three important points. He is able to monitor his own and others' emotion. He's also able to discriminate among those emotions and use this information to guide his thinking and actions. So, these are all typical of high emotional intelligence. So, the correct answer is that Atul is displaying high emotional intelligence. Option number three. Emotional intelligence includes social skills, self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and motivation. With this, let us move on to the next question. Question number 38. Question number 38 states dash involves employing systematic, organized, and objective procedures to record behavioral phenomena occurring naturally in real time. Okay, let us move to the next question. Question number 38. It states that dash involves employing systematic, organized, and objective procedures to record behavioral phenomena occurring naturally in real time. So the answer for this would be observation method, option number three. Now the keywords in the statement were systematic, organized, and objective procedures that help us in recording behavioral phenomena occurring naturally. So whenever we are trying to understand behavioral phenomena that are occurring in a natural environment, we always utilize observation method. So the correct answer is option number three, observation. Question number 39, the IQ range for individuals with moderate intellectual deficiency. So it is very straightforward question. It talks about people with moderate intellectual deficiency. And as stated by NCRT, also the IQ range for people with moderate intellectual deficiency is 35 to 40. So the closest answer in this question, 35 to 40 to 50 to 55. So the answer in this would be option number two, 35 to 50. Question number 40, the instinctual life force that energizes the id is called. So the instinctual life force that energizes the id is called libido. This term was given This term was given by Sigmund Freud. So he stated that the instinctual life force that energizes the element of personality, that is id, is called libido. So the correct answer is option number two, libido. Let us move to the next question, question number 41. Now, this is the passage given to us for question 41 to 45. Let us read the passage and try to find out the answers to the questions that follow. So in our day-to-day life, we assign certain causes or reasons to a person's behavior. This process is called attribution. Broadly, causes of a person are attributed to either internal or external factors. Internal factors are related to the situation. With reference to success and failure, Wiener has classified causes into external or internal, and stable and unstable factors. In general, people attribute success to internal factors such as their ability and hard work. However, failure is attributed to external factors such as task difficulty and bad luck. Ability, fate, and hard work task difficulty are considered as stable and unstable factors, respectively. Stable factors refer to those causes that do not change with time. It has been observed that people have a tendency to give greater weightage to internal factors rather than to external. This phenomena is called fundamental attribution error. This tendency is stronger in some cultures than in others. Research suggests that Indians tend to make more external attributions than Americans. Let us now see what the questions are. Question number 41 again provides us with two lists. The first list talks of the characteristics, while the second list talks of the causal factors. So the first characteristic that is given to us is task characteristic. So we attribute task characteristic to external factors as well as it is unstable. So the option will be option number 4, unstable and external. Then we move on to hard work. Hard work is regarded as an internal factor as well as it is unstable. Hard work can change with time. The third that is given to us is fate. So fate is usually referred to as external and it is considered as relatively stable. And the last one is ability that is referred to as an internal factor and is also considered stable. So the correct answer is option number 4. With this, let us move on to the next question, question number 42. Question number 42 talks about as per Wiener, if person A gives greater weightage to internal factors, then which one of the following will hold true for A? The task characteristics, A is intelligence, A is luck, or pleasant weather conditions. So we are seeing A gives weightage to internal factors. Task characteristic is external, luck is also external, and weather conditions are also external. So the only internal factor given to us is A's intelligence. So the correct answer would be option number 2, A's intelligence. Question number 43. People generally attribute failure to. So when you refer to the paragraph, you can see that failure is attributed to external factors. It is given to us in the paragraph itself that failure is attributed to external factors. So the correct answer would be option number 3, external factors. Question number 44. Fundamental attribution error is known as a tendency to give greater weightage to. Again, when you refer to the paragraph, you can see that it has been observed that people have a tendency to give greater weightage to internal factors rather than external. This is referred to as fundamental attribution error. So the correct answer to this would be option number 3, giving greater weightage to internal factors than to external factors. Let us move to the last question in this passage. Wiener is famous for his work on, we just read that Wiener is famous for his work on attribution. So the correct answer would be option number 3, attribution. You can also refer to the image provided here for the attribution model provided by Wiener. Let us move to the passage given to us for question number 46 to 50. The passage reads, a person's thinking or behavior is classified as abnormal if it violates social norms. Norms are expected behavior in a group. Every culture has certain standards for accepting behavior as per socially acceptable norms. For example, child marriage was a norm about 100 years ago. Those who did not marry their girl child, like everyone else, were considered to be breaking the norm. The most obvious problem with defining abnormality using social norms is that there is no universal agreement over social norms. Another definition of abnormality states that a person is considered abnormal if he or she is unable to perform the behaviors necessary for day-to-day living, for example, self-care, holding a job, managing everyday tasks. We must understand that mental health issues are prevalent in all cultures as there is ignorance and fear about psychological disorders. Now let us read the question. Question number 46 states, a person's thinking or behavior is classified as abnormal if it isolates social norms. This statement refers to the dash concept in abnormality. So there are four major concepts in abnormality that are known as four Ds of also of abnormality. They are deviance, distress, danger, and dysfunction. So whenever a person's thinking or behavior is classified as abnormal, just just because it isolates from the social norms, it is known as the deviance concept of abnormality. That is, we are deviating from the given social norms. So the correct answer is option number one, deviance. Let us move to the next question. Question number 47. It talks about norms of societies grow from its history, values, institutions, habits, skills, technology, art, etc. These are together referred to as, so the society's history, values, institutions, habits, skills, technology, these are collectively known as the culture of a particular society. Let us move to the next question, question number 48. It talks of, it is believed that psychological disorders are something to be ashamed of. This is because of dash attached to mental illness. So, whenever we see that psychological disorders are considered as something to be ashamed of, and that is why people do not seek professional help, we know that this is known as the stigma attached to psychological disorders. So, the correct answer is option number four, stigma. Question number 49. A person is considered to be abnormal if he or she is unable to perform the behaviors necessary for day-to-day living. This explains abnormality due to, so the correct answer would be dysfunction. Why dysfunction? Because the statement says that the person is not able to carry out day-to-day living activities. So he or she is not able to function properly. Therefore, we refer to this aspect of abnormality as dysfunction. So the correct answer is option number three, dysfunction. Let us come to the last question, question number 50. It talks of the best criterion for determining the normality of the behavior is it follows the norms of the society, it fosters overall well-being, it is not distressing, it is not dangerous. So statement 1, 3, and 4 relate to the 100 days in abnormality, but option number 2 adequately describes the best criterion for determining the normality of behavior. If a behavior fosters the overall well-being of a person, then it is referred to as a normal behavior. So the correct answer would be option number 2, fosters overall well-being. I hope this was helpful. This discussion was helpful to you all, and you all got to understand and to learn something. We'll meet in our next video. That is all.